This is the Mindful Man with my book Doormat, which is on Amazon KDP. I'm trying to read more chapters, but I get out of breath easily. I don't know why. Chapter 6 False Hope. When she met Jerry, she thought that life would get better, and it did for the first few weeks, until he began to show his true colours. Slowly, he stopped kissing her, and then he stopped talking to her, and it was usually not more of a series of grunts than a normal conversation. She tried to get him to talk to her about books or music or art, but all he ever seemed to care about was football. Bloody football, she thought angrily. Eventually, Anna gave up and she left him to watch his never ending football while she sat in the kitchen wondering what to do with herself. She was very bored and miserable, and then she discovered chocolate biscuits. She loved chocolate biscuits, especially digestives, and she loved to dunk them in her hot tea and to let the chocolate melt dreamily into them. It looked so lovely, she thought, as she popped another one into her mouth. It was impossible not to reach for another. In time, Anna grew bigger and bigger, but she didn't care. Jerry looked at her with a bemused and annoyed frown, but he just sat in his favourite armchair and put on his huge, expensive headphones. Anna was glad that he didn't want to talk to her, and so she could sit in the kitchen and watch the portable TV and always be near the food cupboards. On TV, they all seemed to have such glamorous lives, and hers was so dull and lonely that she couldn't help sinking even lower. And every time she popped more digestives into her mouth, she felt a little better. They were her drug, she thought sardonically. The more biscuits she ate, the more she put on weight, but she was past caring. And one miserable morning, she stood on the scales and the arrow went round, as if a giant hippopotamus had sat on it. So, in a very big huff, Anna picked up the scales and she put them outside in the dustbin. Time for digestive, she said, and she sat down after a rare bit of exercise. Anna's husband began to take even less interest in her. The more she put on weight, the less interest he showed. It was a vicious circle. Every night he'd be coming in late and missing his dinner, which made Anna even more angry and miserable. And so she ended up eating his dinner as well. Waste not, want not, she'd say, as she popped the last piece into her mouth. And I never told him that she ate all his dinner, as that would have led to even more rows. Every night she watched the clock moving slowly, and every night it got later and later, and then one evening he never came home. At midnight the phone rang, and he explained that he had met someone special, and that he wouldn't be coming back. Anna dropped the phone in shock, and then she forced herself off the sofa, but it wasn't easy with her weight. This is definitely a cake situation, she said to herself through quivering lips. The big sleep. It was her favourite cake, chocolate, and she dove into it like a hungry panda. Every time that she felt every time that she felt a wave of pain, she took another huge bite, and pretty soon she had eaten nearly half of the cake, and she was full to burst. Anna felt like she had eaten a bouncy castle. She was that stuffed. Did she feel better? Just a little. Then she ripped up all of the wedding photos. Damn him, she said, as she finished off a pint of milk, and the cake had made her too tired to watch TV. And so she waddled off to bed like a sad penguin. Her head crushed the pillow, and she stared at the ceiling in despair, a despair far deeper than any she'd ever known. Please don't let me wake up ever again, she prayed. And then all was darkness, but she did wake up. But she had no intention of getting out of bed, apart from going to the toilet. My life is over, she thought sadly, and she was glad. Anna stared at the curtains, and she could see the changes of the day beginning, and she could hear the sound of the birds, but it brought her no pleasure.